Today we will study monohybrid cross from the topic inheritance and variation. In this topic, we have already studied the introduction of this topic and discovery of the Mendel about the genetics. Mendel was the father of genetics. But why Mendel called the father of genetics? Because he laid down the foundation of genetics and so known as the father of genetics. But why this monohybrid cross is essential related to genetics? The Mendel, which discovered 3 laws of genetics, and from these 3 laws, first 2 laws are explained with the help of monohybrid cross. With the help of monohybrid cross. And so, in this topic, monohybrid cross is very much important. So, first of all, the definition of monohybrid cross. A cross in between 2 pure parents having a single trait of contrasting character. Or a cross in between 2 pure parents having a single contrasting character. That one is a monohybrid cross. Mendel selected 2 parents, one as a female parent and another as a male parent. Phenotype of these parents are: female is a tall phenotypically and male is a tall phenotypically. But what is meant by phenotype? The external appearance of the organism, that one is known as a phenotype. So, Mendel considered here only one contrasting trait, only one contrasting character, and so this cross is a monohybrid cross. Here, female is a tall while male is a dwarf, and cross takes place in these 2 parents. Then the genotype of these parents are tall, capital T, and dwarf, small t, small t. These are the genotypes of tall and dwarf parents. Then the gametes. Gametes are haploid. So here single capital T. And here single small t, because gametes are haploid in nature. Then when cross takes place in these 2 gametes, then formation of F1 generation takes place, and F1 generation consists of the genotype capital T and small t. These are the genotypes of F1 hybrid. This one is a hybrid. But what is the phenotype of this F1 hybrid? You consider that the phenotype of this hybrid will be intermediate in this tall and dwarf. But that one is not a correct answer. Phenotypically, these F1 hybrids are tall. But why these are tall? Because tall character is dominant and dwarf character is recessive. And in F1 generation, only one character is expressed, and that expressed character is dominant character. So, tall is a dominant character. And in F1 generation, only tall offsprings are formed, only tall offsprings are observed. This one is a recessive gene. This capital T suppresses the characteristics of this small t. And so, only tall offsprings are observed in F1 generation. Then next step of this monohybrid cross, and that one is a selfing in F1 hybrid. Selfing in F1 hybrid. But what is selfing? Selfing is a step in which F1 hybrids are crossed in each other. So, capital T small t crossed with capital T small t. The gametes of these F1 hybrids are capital T small t, capital T small t. Then the next step in which this Punnett square is observed here. But what is this Punnett square? This is a method which was discovered by the scientist Reginald C. Punnett for the identification of F1 hybrids with its genotypes and phenotypes. And so this is known as a Punnett square Here gametes, capital T, small t, capital T, small t. First of all, this capital T is crossed with these two gametes, and then this small t is crossed with these two gametes. So, firstly, capital T, then capital T, small t, capital T, small t, and small t, small t. These are the genotypes of F2 generation. But what are the phenotypes of this F2 generation? Phenotypically, this one is a tall, but this tall is a homozygous tall. Why homozygous? The two genes are similar, identical, and so known as a homozygous. This offspring is also tall, but it is heterozygous tall. What is heterozygous? These two genes are different and so heterozygous. Then third offspring, it is also tall but heterozygous tall, and fourth offspring in which small t is present, it is a dwarf offspring. Dwarf offspring formation takes place in F2 generation. This one is F2 generation. But what are the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross? There will be question in your board exam. The question is like, what are the genotypic and phenotypic ratios of monohybrid cross for 1 mark? So the answer is phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio means the ratio which is calculated according to the external appearance. So how many tall is present and how many dwarf is present? Here 1, 2 and 3 talls are present. So write down here tall, 3 are tall, and how many dwarf are present? So dwarf is only 1. Okay. So the phenotypic ratio of monohybrid cross is 3:1. Then the next ratio, genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio. The ratio which is calculated according to the genotypes, which type of genes are present, and that ratio is known as the genotypic ratio. So here capital T is 1. Then capital T, small t is 2 in number. And lastly, small t is 1 in number. So genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross is 1:2:1, while phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Lastly, the conclusions of this monohybrid cross. There are main two conclusions, from which first one is only dominant traits are observed in F1 generation. Means only dominant characters are present. Only dominant characters are expressed in F1 generation. And second conclusion is the character which is suppressed in the F1 generation, that is dwarf character, is expressed in the next generation in F2 generation. So here one is dwarf. Okay students, here monohybrid cross is completed. Then tomorrow we'll study dihybrid.